to We Are Crotchety Old Men and a Woman.
Darn, I didn't get to say, and a man, damn it. Sorry about that.
Why would you say it that way?
I don't know, because it's funny.
Okay, the podcast about you, with you, and sometimes about you. I blew that completely. Can you please say it?
So it's for you, with you, and sometimes even about you. Sometimes. Right now, it's all about Abigail.
Yeah.
Abigail is definitely the number one host. Everyone admits Abigail clearly top host. So that's why she's doing it. Maybe we'll alternate, but she's running the show again.
Well, and I already blew it, but that's okay because I've never cared for the name. Did I ever tell you that, Arden?
Yes, but
I just don't like it.
We had that.
We are crotchety old men.
Well, we had that conversation.
I mean, we're not that old.
But we are that crotchety.
I can be, that's for sure. So I'm a little crotchety about that music. What the hell was that?
Okay, so that was from Fire Aid, which happened a couple of days ago, and that was Joan Jett. Remember Joan Jett of the Blackhawks?
Of
Black Hearts. Black Hearts. My first concert, by the way.
I love rock and roll. It's a classic.
It was her with all of the guys from Nirvana. So Nirvana had a big thing. What is it okay if I talk about this for a while? Because I was really.
I guess so. I never even heard her name. I mean, I never even heard her voice in that song.
Well, yeah, because she's the one going. Yeah. Anyway.
It sounds like she's constipated.
She might have been. She's getting old. She's at that age. But anyway, Joan Jett. Once again, I did see them as my first concert. So they had honestly some of the greatest musicians that you can imagine. Even the guys from Led Zeppelin got back together to play. And they had also singers. So Robert Plant was there. Jimmy Page was there. All of these bands were playing for money for the wildfire relief. Now, you know what really gets me annoyed? And I don't know. I don't know if it's arrogance. I don't know if it's the liberal thing. Or an elitist attitude. Where was the wildfire relief for Maui? Where was the flood relief now for North Carolina?
And it happened months ago.
Yes. This is people. Now, I know, yes, a lot of people lost their homes, not just the rich elite people. But a lot of record companies, a lot of their performers all lost their homes and everything. And now they want relief back. They want money back. So they can throw a huge concert. Meanwhile, the poor guy in... I don't know even which island in Hawaii it was. Was it on the main one of Honolulu? I don't know. But the guys in Ashland, North Carolina have nothing. They still have nothing. And we don't have anyone doing concerts for them. I think that is complete and total bullshit.
Well, I think it's the Grammys on tomorrow. You know, those useless awards programs.
Yes.
And I stopped watching that stuff years ago. But they're just going to talk about the wildfires.
Yeah, oh my God.
Oh, but it's not going to stop there, Arden.
Oh, no.
They're going to really rip into Trump. I think this is the first show, whether it's the Oscars, the Grammys, after the election. So I guarantee there's going to be several political statements.
And oh my God, it's climate change. Climate change set all those fires. Not cleaning the brush, not the water management. By the way, did you see Trump taking credit for the dams being opened up, which I thought was absolutely freaking hilarious. But that was just one of the things. So he literally led up this whole thing, and he's fixing it. And now magically water is flowing again back into California.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. And you have all the people. I mean, maybe it's because we don't have all the illegals. Maybe that's why there was wildfires. I don't know. I'm going on a tangent. But anyway, I still think it's bullshit that, you have all these musicians having a huge concert, but they weren't there when other Americans needed them. Only when their friends need them.
So let's go back to your first concert. Who did you go with?
I went with my sister.
Really?
Yes, I was 12.
Wow, that must have meant a lot to you.
You know what? It did. But it wasn't like my sister dragged me to all of these concerts.
Really?
Yes. I saw Kiss twice. And they like it, she would drag me everywhere. I saw Kiss at Radio City Music Hall.
Wow.
Second row.
Wow.
I hated Kiss. And I went because I had to go with my sister because I guess none of her friends wanted to go or something. I don't know, but
well, that was nice of her.
It was nice of her. But at the same time, I think it was nice of me.
Oh.
That I decided to go. I mean, I don't like Kiss. I didn't like music back then. But that's all right.
I don't know.
You don't know. Anyway.
So now we're going to do useless information, but I realized after the show started, I had crumpled up my notes and threw them in the garbage. So I got it out of the garbage.
Oh, look at you. A little Rush Limbaugh action right there with a piece of paper.
Yes.
You're formerly nicotine stay
I know,
hands.
and everyone, I'm going to say it on the air. I'm going to quit smoking next week. So
and I'm going to lose weight next week.
Because it's on podcast history now, I can't go back. But anyway.
Okay.
So here's your useless information of the day.
Hit it. I'm ready.
Nicknames of certain presidents. We all know that Abe Lincoln was known as Honest Abe, but what was his other name?
I have no idea.
The Rail Splitter.
Yes, I knew that because he did work on the railroad.
All right.
He's also undefeated as a wrestler, believe it or not.
Didn't know that.
Useless information.
All right. I only got two more. Gerald Ford. He was known as Mr. Nice Guy. But what else was he known by?
I was about to say falling down the stairs, but I don't know.
Jerry the Jerk. I didn't realize he was a jerk. He seemed so...
Was it like because he had a jerk reaction? Like just like a spaz?
No, I think they were just saying he was a jerk. But how can he be a nice guy
and a jerk? I have no idea.
And then there's my buddy Bill Clinton.
Bill. He probably has a lot of names. Slick Willie.
Slick Willie's one of them, but the other one is...
lying son of a bitch.
No,
Lewinsky's man.
It was Teflon Bill, and you know what? That was really appropriate because nothing ever stuck to him.
Nope.
I could say something else, but I'm not going to about that.
Wow, keeping it real, keeping it honest, unlike myself.
Okay, so we're now going to move on to the Trump Orb.
Oh, the magical
Arden
Trump Orb.
gets 2 questions, and I get 1.
All right.
So who's going first?
Well, I go, and then you go, then I go.
Okay.
So now I do know that I'm going to be talking a little bit about the big holiday tomorrow. But so what I want to know is magical Trump Orb. Will there be 6 more weeks of winter? That's all I want to know.
Not even a little bit, not even 1%.
Oh, so we're going to have some nice spring weather ahead of us. That's big. That's big. All right, your question.
Okay, so if everyone doesn't remember, I'm leaving the country in the middle of next week.
Wow, you're going back to Mexico?
Ha, ha, ha.
You're getting thrown out of the country? Tom Holman is dragging you?
No, but I'm trusting Arden with my 2 precious doggies.
Oh.
So Trump Orb, even though Arden has an allergy, will he let the doggies sleep with him?
Uh-oh, this is an interesting question.
I have absolutely no doubt.
Oh! I want to point out, yesterday, 4 o'clock in the morning, her puppy dog Benji, the old man, literally is chirping away because sometimes he doesn't know, he can't really bark because he's so old, so he chirps. 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm like flopping down the stairs, and I'm just sitting next to him, and I'm trying to fall asleep. I'm so itchy because I didn't take any medicine, and I hung out with him for an hour, and then I finally retreated. Luckily, Abigail woke up like an hour later when he was still chirping away. But I would, for those little guys, I would do it.
But Benji and Toto are excited now.
Yeah, I'm looking at him right now.
Trump Orb said they can sleep with you. So.
Well, my question is honestly the most important question that every husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, any couple needs to know. Trump Orb. Is it ever appropriate when sitting on the couch next to someone that you could fart next to them at any time?
It looks like it could happen.
See? What did I tell you? You can't fart next to your special someone. Thank you, Trump Orb. Yeah, we had to know that because, Alfred was telling me about a farting thing, situation. No, I didn't want to embarrass him. Just kidding.
So, Arden, you wanted to talk about something that's happening tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Groundhogs Day. Wow, someone is texting me possibly about Groundhogs Day. So, I'm a big fan of the whole Doge thing and cutting money, which I know you have a little something to talk about that later. So, this is interesting. So, do you know what Noah is? Not the guy who built the ark, but Noah, N-O-A?
No,
okay.
I don't.
So it's a government agency. It's the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration.
Oh, okay.
NOAA. They did a study, took taxpayer money and did a study of 20 different groundhogs. Meteorology groundhogs. The most famous is Punxsutawney Phil, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they did a study on who was the most accurate. Okay, now.
Who was the most accurate?
Yes.
Do they really believe in this stuff?
They wanted to see if groundhogs actually could. They don't understand that it's actually someone else, like, creating this. It's the actual groundhog doesn't actually, like, go outside. They're supposed to pick them up, and then they write a whole proclamation for them. You remember when Bill de Blasio, mayor of New York, dropped the one guy, and he died?
Yeah.
Well, let me just tell you something about this, okay? First of all, Groundhog's Day started in 1886.
Wow.
I mean, it's been going on for a long time. But they're the most famous groundhog of all on the list of 20, Punxsutawney Phil. Guess where he was ranked?
I would assume number 1.
17th on the list.
He only gets it right?
Yeah.
Occasionally?
Yeah, very wrong. He's usually 30% right. But number 1, Staten Island Chuck, the guy that Bill de Blasio dropped, was correct over 80% of the time, and Blasio killed him.
Wow.
I'm thinking climate change. He was a climate change denier, and Bill de Blasio took him out.
I think you're right.
Number 2, General Beauregard Lee from Georgia. Number 3, Lander Leal from Wisconsin. They were all right over 70% of the time. Good thing they don't have de Blasio.
Okay, and how much taxpayer money went into this?
Close to $1 million.
Shut up.
Close to $1 million taxpayer dollars to let me know that de Blasio murdered the number 1 meteorologist in the country. I actually don't know if meteorologists predict the weather or they just focus on it. I don't know. So honestly, that is, once again, what's my word of the day? Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on that again. So that's why I was just really mad. Doge, go in there, start cutting. That's an easy one. Low-hanging fruit. Fire every single person in that one. I'm all fired up again. And you know what? You know why else I'm fired up? Because I'm not having my normal basement coffee. I am drinking, by the way, I'm having a CCC. It is cocoa, coffee with a little bit of whipped cream. So I guess it would be a CCWC. And it's freaking good, but it's made with Dunkin' Donuts coffee, not my breakfast blend basement coffee. So I just want to let you know that. And Abigail is having basement coffee. She's doing the same thing. She actually added a little chocolate syrup on hers, but she's using French vanilla coffee.
And I already drank it, so it was good.
It's freaking awesome. Anyway.
So, Arden,
I'm sorry.
This is the second conclusion of the second week of the Trump administration, and boy, is he shaking up the government.
I got to do it again. Yeah, Daniel loves that song. That's his number one
It all
song.
got started with the Great Resignation emails.
Yes. Explain that, please.
Basically, it's just pretty funny as he always approaches things. He certainly is an entertainer. But the email went out that offered government employees the ability to resign with 8 months of paid leave. And he even he encouraged people to go ahead and get another job so you can show your productivity. And he basically slapped them in the face saying they weren't very productive working for the government. So the clever part is, what did they have until the 10th?
Yeah, some of them only had to the end of this week.
Yeah. So if they wanted to take the deal or take the offer, they just had to hit reply and write the term resign.
That's it.
And that was it.
Just resign.
Yeah.
I resign.
Isn't that funny?
It's awesome. And did you see how much they're thinking it's going to save?
A lot.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's like 10% of the entire budget. Or I mean, it's a massive amount of money. Millions and millions and millions of dollars will be saved by this. It just shows you COVID really shows how few people are needed. Now, we live in the DC area. Everything about this area, somehow or another, is because of the federal government. If the federal government got up and moved right into like Missouri, the middle of the country, we would be in farmland again. We would be Nebraska. No one would live here. Everything is if you're a gas station, you're depending on people who drive in. I mean, it's awesome how crazy it is. I love it. So
okay, but
I'm sorry.
I'm not impacted by the federal government being here or not.
Oh yes, you are, because you have all of those people who are right down the store, like the EPA and all of those. Everything about the federal government, but everything about what you do, where you do it, how you do it, like the inspectors that come in. They're not flying in. They're just driving over and saying, hello.
And you mentioned the EPA.
Yes, I
do,
did.
in my line of work, deal with the EPA. And this was something that was only addressed towards the EPA, no other government entity.
Okay.
Where an email was sent out to 1,100 employees, and it indicated, per the federal code, that the government has the right to immediately terminate you if you are in your probationary period, which is defined as less than 1 year.
Wow, that's
so
a long
why do I
period.
say this?
Why?
Because they are all running scared at the EPA. And I happen to know someone that did take a job with the EPA recently. So I don't know what his fate's going to be.
And are you going,
You said it, but and then of course there's the back to work mandate.
Love it.
I mean, didn't they say like 90% of the federal buildings were not occupied?
Right. No one's using, because they're all. And
COVID ended years ago.
Yep. And you know what's worse? People actually moved. Like, there's people that moved to like Florida and they're working from home.
Right. And now they're being told they got to go into the office. I think that's awesome.
I watched a meme the other day. No, it was today. This lady was complaining that she lives so far that she can't go into work anymore. She moved because it was remote and there would be traffic. By the way, she lives like down the road in Ashburn, Virginia. And she's complaining that she's too far to work.
I mean, I'm sorry. These people that work from home are so entitled. I mean, there are some positions where, yeah, you can work from home, I guess. But I deal with companies, and I'm on, Teams meetings and so forth. And I got over 90% of my Teams meetings, they're working from home.
Right.
And I guess maybe I'm a little jealous. I'll say it. I said it out loud.
I've worked from home. I like the hybrid model myself, but just because it is nice to have a couple of days where you don't have to drive in and you can actually work in your pajamas. Mm-hmm. But then there's the people who do have to work every day. They have to be there, and they're getting paid less than the person who's sitting on the damn couch all day. And you can't measure productivity sometimes. Some people do amazing work when they work from home. Mm-hmm. And if you measure their work productivity, because they're at home, you take away the whole driving aspect out of it. Lunch breaks, there is no more lunch breaks because they're at home, so it's already taken care of. They can do a load of laundry and make some phone calls. They can be more productive.
Right, but what do you think about the inequality theory, which Musk basically stated that to his ex-employees, that they needed to come back to work because it wasn't fair to those that were working in the office. And I read a long article about it last night, and I have to agree. It is not fair.
It's not fair. I'll give you an even more bizarre example. So when I started my last job, the job previously to the one I got now, I actually was hired at the height of COVID. Mm-hmm. I had to be in the office 5 days a week. I was the only non-manager or VP in the office. But here's the weird one. Women did not have to come in. Only the men.
Wow.
So there was even a weird sexism thing going on there. It was very weird. Now, of course, we were in a very blue-collar atmosphere, but the women didn't have to come in until after the booster was invented. So for 6 months, half of our office was completely empty. No, every single one of the cubes was empty. All of the offices, including mine, obviously were occupied.
Wow.
So, and that's how they thought about it. They said, well, we're all in offices. But of course, we're high-fiving and having conversations, yelling at each other. And when you're yelling, you're spitting, and you know how all that. So COVID, yeah, and I did get COVID, and I got it bad. It was ugly.
Well, all I know is the article I was reading was saying that that's just not true about inequality. But at face value, I have to say it isn't fair.
It really isn't fair. I mean, if you're a doctor, you have to be there. If you're a scientist, you have to be there. Like there is. If you're an engineer, you got to be there. You can't just be.
You just said the
C word.
No.
The science word.
No. Michael, what's his name? Strahan.
Oh yes.
The guy on Good Morning America.
Yep.
He actually said to Trump's press secretary, with the back to work mandate, how is that going to work for people such as scientists and doctors? Well, he just set himself up and she teed off. She just teed off. I mean, to state the obvious.
Right, like they have to be at work. I mean, it really just shows you how many useless people there are in a lot of organizations. Big organ. I'm not talking about your mom and pop store, or some of the other stuff.
Well, obviously Trump's been attacking DEI. But this week it was really more about the military. Do you have some words on that, Arden?
Well, a bunch. I mean, you have a lot of people, and the memes, they were promoted. It was forced upon them. There was entire divisions, not actual active duty military combat divisions, but actually divisions dedicated specifically for setting up DEI training, number one. By the way, you're taking fighting, and I'm going to say fighting men, just because that's the normal term. Fighting men are going into training on how to deal with DEI instead of training.
Right.
They need to be razor sharp at all times, and they're being dragged away, and they're looking at their buddy, and you're sitting there like, I mean, there was an old adage of, you don't care what the person next to you looks like, what their religion is, because you have to just trust them. I think it hurt our DEI. It also meant that recruiting went way down, and guess what? It's skyrocketing since Pete Hegseth came in.
Really?
Skyrocketing, because people want to serve this amazing country of ours. And so when we have all of these idiots, just talking about stuff that they don't understand, they've lowered the bar on certain things. I mean, I told the story about, with the women in the fire department having to train, and their standards were lower. And my fat ass, if I'm going to have a little woman who can't bench press 100 pounds carry me out a window, no, I want that big freaking monster dude just carrying me with one arm down like a football. Kind of like how you do with Benji. I want you to be able, so we're lowering the standards. So if you're in a trench, you're in a little teeny tiny trench, and you're looking at the tiny little woman next to you, knowing if you get shot, she can't drag you to safety. Do you think your mind is not thinking about that when bullets are flying over your head? Hell yeah, they are. Oh, I'm on a tirade. I need more. Wow. I need more coffee.
Well, all I know is he's working with breakneck speed, and it's awesome.
Some people are saying it's over the top, and he's exaggerating, and blah blah, and they're complaining the prices of
eggs haven't come down yet. Give me a break.
And then they're like, but the tariffs. This is how it works, you dumbasses. Okay, number one, prices are high. Tariffs are the tariffs will raise prices until the freaking Justin Trudeau of Canada says, oh my God, we are hemorrhaging money because we can't afford it. Guess what? Then they lower their prices. Then all of a sudden the prices of eggs come crashing down. And,
settle down, Arden.
And why the hell are we importing eggs from some of these countries?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
So, so one other thing he's been doing.
Sorry, I'm sweating.
He's basically, I don't know that you call it renaming, but the military bases in the South, apparently, under Joe Biden's administration, they eliminated the names of the Confederate war heroes.
Oh,
so
you get me fired up again?
Fort Lee was changed to something else, apparently. But I was not aware of this.
But not Fort Lee, New Jersey, which is actually right next to the George Washington Bridge.
That's true.
Fort Lee, New Jersey.
Well, give me another example. That wasn't a good one.
Fort Bragg.
Okay.
Now, I've been to Fort Bragg. So I have been to Fort Bragg. I think it is the biggest Army base in the country.
Oh, I thought you were going to say armpit.
No, it isn't an armpit of North Carolina, though. I'm sorry, guys. They know it. But then again, hey, if you're in the military, you'd rather be in an armpit than in like a city, But, at first when this happened a few years ago, I was like, yeah, it's not that big a deal. But now I've gotten to the point, living once again in Northern Virginia.
The greatest place in the world.
Okay. But everything would have to be renamed. We have Leesburg, which is named after the Lee family, which included General Lee. But you know who? It also was the Lees who literally signed the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. There are many Lees. The Lee family was one of the biggest families in all of Virginia. But then where else does it go? Do we start renaming? Well, let's go further back. Is it only in America that we have to rename everything? We have all of these states and cities that are named after famous nobles, kings and queens. I mean, we have Lord Fairfax County. Lord Fairfax owned slaves. Wait, what are we going to rename everything? I mean, it's silly.
I wonder if he's going to put the statues back up, have them recreated.
I have no problem if they're put in museums and they're correct. That are already taken down. I would not take down any more because we have to learn from our mistakes.
I'm talking about the ones that they tore down.
Oh, that they tore down, or if they were taken down properly. I don't know if you reassemble them now. That's my own personal opinion because they're down. But anything that's still standing, I would leave. But we have to understand it because you have to understand who is this guy. But then again, most people don't even acknowledge statues. They really don't.
Till they're tearing them down.
Right. The John Paul Jones statue is on the mall in Washington, D.C. I guarantee 99% of the people don't even know it's there. And here's an odd one for you. And I had this discussion years ago about the Martin Luther King statue, that big, beautiful one, that giant one. Mm-hmm. What if we decide that they're in 200 years from now? Let's be realistic. 200 years from now, all religion is gone. There's no more religion. Someone could say, well, he was a religious man. Let's tear down his statue. Right now, we would not even think about tearing down the statue of Martin Luther King Jr. But 200 years from now, religion could be evaporated because the liberals have taken it away from us. And the people would say, we must tear down that statue because he was a religious man. Maybe. See, I'm fired up again. This is why you shouldn't host, because I'm getting all fired up. I'm taking off my sweatshirt now. I'm going to go stand in the cold.
Well, I think we've had enough of Trump for this podcast, but don't worry. We'll be talking about him next week. So now we're going to go on to burning questions. We still don't know who gave us this gift, but... it might have been my brother. It's warming up on me, so... since I'm hosting, I get to ask the questions. So, Arden, are you ready?
I am. Oh, I feel so much better. I took my sweatshirt off, and I got my Flippers t-shirt. And I actually was telling Angela, by the way, I know this has nothing to do with anything, to Alfred and Mrs. Alfred, I may never go back to Flippers again. We did. It was just, it wasn't the same. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes.
Anyway, this one's perfect for Arden.
Perfect.
Name the top 5 things you would take during a zombie attack.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay. Number 1, crowbar.
Okay.
Because a crowbar can be used as a weapon and it actually won't break. A hatchet is only one side. Anyway, because you don't ever want a firearm. Okay? Because you're going to run out of bullets. Done. Okay, number 2. I would take, obviously, if I could get it, I don't know what it is, 32 ounces? A 32-ounce jug of water.
Okay.
Bottle of iodine.
Okay.
Very important. The iodine tablets, would that count as iodine as well?
Yes.
Okay, so because that would be needed because if the drinking water, yeah, right. So those would be the big 3. 2 pairs of socks, guaranteed if I can. Because you're going to need them, and some sort of poncho.
Wow, folks.
Yes.
He obviously has thought that out.
Yeah, I have, because...
Wow.
I mean, everyone should know this, because on a lot of those, it's even a regular survivalist would actually agree with some of those. They probably would have a lot more.
All righty.
All right.
So, Arden has told me many times how he would punish... the worst criminals in our present.
Hell yeah.
And that is, we'll say what that is in a little bit, but Arden, what if it was already dead? How would you dispose of a dead body?
Oh, the same exact way if I could. If I could.
Okay.
But there's a lot of DNA evidence. So I would have to figure...
True.
I would have to
just
figure...
focus on a dead body that's already dead.
Do I have a lot more context? Like where am I? Is it like if there's a dead body outside in the grass?
Just assume that you killed the person.
Oh, I killed the person. Oh, I would be totally effed up because I've never actually thought about how would I get rid of a body. You know what I probably would do? Wrap it up in some sort of sheet. Mm-hmm. I know getting rid of one I have no freaking clue. I was about to say drop it off some tier or something, but I wouldn't do that. We are not near a wooded area, so I wouldn't.
I guess, folks, we don't have to worry about him killing anyone.
No.
But Arden, please tell the audience what you would do to child rapists.
Oh my God. Okay, and I'm going to specifically talk about those 2 guys that were married. Okay, those 2 guys who were married and adopted the 2 boys, who literally. They raped the 2 kids that became their sons, and then they took many explicit pictures and then pimped them out to other men. These were little boys. Mm-hmm. I would take those guys. Okay, let me explain what's going to happen to you. Very slow belt wood chipper on slow, feet first, with all of the body parts when they're screaming. Into a vat filled with alligators and crocodiles, then take those alligators and crocodiles, cook them up, and feed them to the next set of pedophilias. Pedophiles.
I love it.
So they would know that they're eating someone else that's going to become them, and someone else is going to eat them.
Wow.
I would do that to a lot of people.
I think that's a really great way to go for those types of people.
And it's environmentally friendly.
Yes.
And you're recycling.
Right, and you don't have to feed them while they're on death row.
No, because you're feeding them literally the people who were on death row too.
Right, but we're not
saving money.
Forever.
Right, saving money.
Sweet, swift justice.
I should work for Doge and Justice. I mean, but that would go for a lot of people, you know?
Yeah.
Anyone who's, but they have to be truly guilty. You know, that's,
of course.
You know, I want to make sure I'm not going to just do it to any old person. But, yeah, if they're like really guilty, triple DNA, you know, the whole 9 yards.
So, Arden, be careful how you answer this one.
Okay.
What was the best phase of your life? In your life?
Best or most fun?
It says, hold on.
Okay. I mean, I'm thinking.
Simple question.
No, because there's phases of my life.
What was the best phase in your life?
I mean, I could say when I was completely naive to everything and there was no problems.
He's totally blowing this question, folks.
There's two different phases, and I'll give both. One, when you're 10 years old, playing wiffle ball in the backyard every day, you know, just there was no care. You didn't have a job yet. That was great. But when I was freaking 19, 20 years old in college, through the whole grunge, like I actually could afford grunge clothing because it was free basically if you had ripped clothes. So I fit in. You know, it was fun, it was enjoyable, and
so that's your answer.
Yes, those two.
Okay, because I thought you would say my current phase in life because I'm with you.
Oh no!
Wow.
Well, this is not a phase. Yeah.
Maybe though.
Thank you, Mrs. Jolly, for helping me get out of that sticky situation. This is not a phase. Oh boy.
All right, everyone.
I wanted to say thank you to everyone because we have had an amazing run lately. We had 10 countries, listen to us. Oh, hold on. Breaking news. This actually goes to Abigail's brother. Final score. Duke Duke won 87-70. So the Duke Blue Devils beat North Carolina 87-70. Okay, now that's over. So we have had 10 countries listen to our podcast last week, so that was awesome. That is tied for our record. But I also wanted to give a shout out because next week is going to be a little weird because Abigail is going to be traveling to the other side of the world. And so we want to get more guests. And I know we've had a lot of local people listen. So if you're Fairfax, Virginia, Ashburn, hey, reach out to us. You could be on the show. If you're afraid, I mean, look at me. I'm a total goof.
Yeah, just email us at wearecrotchtyoldmen@gmail.com.
That's wearecrotchtyoldmen@gmail.com. Or feel free to go on Twitter /X, whatever you want to call it, @crotchtyoldmen. There, and follow us. You could actually, because I know we have a couple listeners who do follow us on there. Write to us. Say, hey, I'd love to be on your show. And we can talk about anything. I mean, look, we talk about dogs. We talk about politics. We talk about wood chippers. I mean, I talk about farting. Anything goes. We don't care. And if you're really local, who knows? Maybe we'll make dinner or something. What was that? Who won the chicken wing contest? Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember who.
Oh man, got to find out. But anyway, so let me listen to a little bit more.
Okay.
A little more Joan Jett and the Blackhawks. No, I mean Joan Jett and Nirvana.
I hope everyone has a good week, and I'll be broadcasting from another land far away next week.
Woo!